Today, beginning with this, two high-profile murder cases go before judges today. Nick Reiner, accused of stabbing his parents to death, and singer David, accused of murdering Celeste Rivas Hernandez. A couple of really grim stories. Fox Local's Christina Gonzalez is live at the Criminal Courts building in downtown LA with the very latest on both cases this afternoon. Christina, a really busy day.
Oh, Marla, I just literally ran out of the David courtroom. And I'm going to warn everybody because what's happened today we did not expect. They're setting a preliminary hearing for May 26th. And what happened today, the big deal today, was that there was actually an argument between the defense and prosecutors because the prosecutors filed what they believe is their case presented at the preliminary hearing. Now, at that point, the defense stood up and said, we don't want the public to hear this. They tried to seal it because it is very, very disturbing. I have been able to obtain this. The judge agreed that it does not have to be sealed, so we, the media, can get it and present it to the people, you listening. But I want to warn you before I read some of these elements. This is disturbing.
It's probably because something is shut down. One of the bridges is shut down or something.
Let me show you some video, but please be aware. I'm going to try to be as tasteful as I can.
All right. How long is you going to be here?
What the prosecution is saying is that David Burke met Celeste Rivas when she was 11 years old. And
that's quick. All right,
they started dating when she was 13. He was 18, and they started a sexual relationship. Now, they believed her parents found out, took her cell phone away because she kept on running away from him. And we've heard about this before. But he actually bought her a cell phone at her junior high school and actually, had it delivered to her. Now,
this is crazy, son. He pulled up to her junior high school and hand delivered a phone. Had a phone delivered to her at her junior high school so that he could communicate with this minor.
They did have a sexual relationship for quite some time. She ran away. But here is, and I warn you, this is where it gets really crazy. According to the prosecution, the night before they believe she was killed, April 23rd, the night of the 22nd, there was a big fight, and they went back and forth with text messages. She was upset because he was seeing other girls, and she was threatening in those text messages to disclose information about him that would get him in trouble and, quote, ruin his career. So he actually gets an Uber for her, according to prosecutors, and has her delivered to his home that day, April 23rd, to come to the house. He pays the Uber to drop her off, and according to them, that is when he kills her. They say he stabbed her to death, and he actually waited, according to this complaint, until she, quote unquote, bled out. Then he took her phone, traveled to Santa Barbara, and kept on calling, texting her, saying, where are you, where are you, as her body is sitting in her house, again, according to prosecutors. I want to underline that David has declared himself not guilty, of all this already in court, of any charges, or whatever may happen. So he goes to Santa Barbara, and that's where, according to the complaint, investigators actually found her ID and some of her stuff. Then he returns home, and get ready for this, he starts ordering on Amazon the tools that they say he used to dismember her body.
Sick,
including, and I kid you not,
that nigga went and put items in his cart. That nigga went online and added items to his cart to proceed to chop up her body with. Sick, bro. Dude, sick.
A burn cage and shovels and all kinds of things. Has the stuff delivered, and according to them, because they served a search warrant in his garage, this is where he supposedly did this, he proceeded to dismember her body. Specifically, Jaring is taking away her pinky finger because his name was tattooed on it. Again, these are allegations by the prosecution. He has pled not guilty, and this is the case they plan to present at the preliminary hearing on May 26. They say that they have biological evidence, her DNA in the garage, in items left over from the pool, that kind of thing. Now, the defense wanted all this squashed because they said this is prejudicial to him, obviously. The prosecution in court was saying, of course it's prejudicial, it's our case against them. The judge decided, we do not seal this from the public. The defense said, well, how are you not going to taint a jury pool? And what the judge said is, LA is big enough, the jury pool's big enough, and they have enough cases like this that by the time we get to a trial, which probably will be in a few years, the jury pool will be able to find people who are not biased by this. Now, it goes on. I mean, I'm still reading through this paperwork, and I'm going to have a lot more at 5 o'clock. But, supposedly he drove the Tesla, and purposely he left her and the Tesla in the locations so that her body would decompose, according to prosecutors, thinking that it would be much more difficult for them to tie her to him. It's a really,
why would he leave her in the car?
Really
but why would he leave her body in the car though? Because then if she does get found, it's gonna lead right back to you. That's what doesn't make sense to me. That's the biggest thing to me. I'm like, maybe he didn't do it because she was in his car. You know what I'm saying? But now everything we hear, it solidifies it.
Disturbing. It's I'm just giving you the highlights.
Right.
It's disturbing. And he was in court. Obviously, this was not read in court today, but he looks scared. He looks very alert. He's working with his attorneys. He has 3 female attorneys, very good attorneys. The prosecution also has a female attorney, so it's all women around this little guy. He's tiny. It amazes me how little he is. He's a very small-framed man.
Little nigga.
He was very alert, but he looks scared. And if this is what the prosecution says they can prove in their preliminary hearing, this is scary for them. The May 26th, they
Shorty got some rough hands.
wanted, the defense had initially said, hey, let's do it Friday. And the prosecution called them on it, said, okay, let's do it Friday, but Friday's May Day. And they're expecting protests. The judge was saying, we're going to have protests downtown. Do you really want to do this? And then the defense, when they said they had just filed this motion, he said, wait a minute, no, we need some time to go over some evidence, and they're still getting stuff, so they decided on May 26th. So that is when we will probably get more of this information. And it looks like a very difficult case and a disturbing case against this young man. But again, he has pled not guilty, he has good attorneys, and they say they intend to prove that he didn't do this. So we'll have to see what happens. In the Nick Reiner case, they actually postponed their preliminary. They didn't even set a preliminary hearing. They decided that there's so much information that they still have to go through that they will meet again in September to decide when they can have a preliminary hearing. So that's going to be a while on that. The coroner doesn't even have a full report to the prosecution on that. So this is my latest update on these.
Well, that's a big update,
today,
Christina.
Criminal courts.
A really big update. So you're covering the Nick Reiner case, which you just ended with. That has been pushed to September, so we have several more months to go there. But all big information, gruesome details, and let's be clear that there were leaks that involve these gruesome details leading up to today. TMZ has been on this case. We've been reporting on it, and there have been those gruesome details where there was things like the burn cage you mentioned that was found. We didn't know if that was true. Of course, this is what the prosecution says. This detail about Santa Barbara County, interesting to hear that. That's something that TMZ broke, during these months leading up to the actual arrest. Nonetheless, this is all coming to light. Not to mention, Christina, what I don't know if this was mentioned at all, leading up to today, the idea that his song lyrics could be used as evidence against him because he has a song called, I believe it's called Romantic Homicide, on whether or not the prosecution is going to...
video.
Right, and if the prosecution is going to use that against him.
Honestly, if they have DNA, if what they're saying here, if they have her DNA in the garage in items that were used to allegedly dismember her body, the song
is irrelevant. I don't want to say
not irrelevant.
I mean,
it's just.
But this is enough
but
evidence.
It adds to it, but
right.
It's not. I mean, if and they took their time with this case, and it was a very difficult. That when I was in the coroner just delivered to the court while we were there a package of paperwork about this big, and the judge is like, okay, who wants to make copies for who? Will the prosecution go first? It's just overwhelming the amount of evidence in this case, And, the prosecution has taken its time because when you have a body that is that decomposed, it is very difficult. But they have a bunch of text messages from these two talking to each other, and the fights and the pictures. And I want to say, because we had reported the last time that there were pornographic pictures on his phone. They're not general pornographic pictures. They're pictures of her, in all kinds of compromising positions.
Come on, man. He smoked. I'm glad they got the smoking gun. I'm glad they got everything they need to really put the nail in the coffin. Like, not physically, but really, really, really get him all the time that he deserved for doing this to this young girl.
So, that is one of the things that I was reading here.
Let's clear that up, because that was reported, I guess it was late last week. I'm losing track of the timeline, in which his phone, or his devices anyway, had a whole lot of child porn on it. So this wasn't
Oh my God. Why are they not blinking out the words that they're saying? CP. We on YouTube with it, y'all. It's CP.
Anybody, this was specifically child porn.
No, this was her.
Alright, they keep on saying that.
This is going to be a nightmare trial. Because, I've sat in trials. Imagine the family sitting there looking at this stuff.
No. Yes.
Let alone the pictures that they have of all the other stuff.
Everything
it's going to be a very gruesome trial.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were up in Lake Elsinore, the family is devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, this young woman has been seen with this young man. They were dating for a year. She ran away. They said they knew he was with her or she was with him. He initially said he wasn't, then he said he was, and it went back and forth. But, what is particularly disturbing and damaging for him is that there's planning involved here, if this is true, because her body is in the house, supposedly, and he's using her phone to text. He's trying to text her to her phone, where are you? Where are you? When they seem to have evidence that the Uber dropped her off at the house.
Right. So he's trying to cover his tracks.
Which goes to a degree of culpability. It makes it even worse. Mm-hmm. One thing is killing somebody in the heat of passion because they threatened you and you thought your life was over. Another thing is the degree of planning that seems to have gone into this.
After the fact, yes. Before
and again,
and
I want to
after,
underline
to get her to his house, then everything else that transpired according to the prosecution, and now
again, he has said he's not guilty.
Right.
He has pled not guilty on all of this. So I want to underline that because the man does have the right to a defense. I don't know what the defense is going to present. The defense says they have a solid case to say it wasn't him.
Yeah. Well, as we've leading up to all of this, we've said if it were such an open and shut case, why did it take so long for this arrest? Perhaps the defense
because of the composition of the body. It took a long time for them to be able to figure out quite a few things. It is not easy to backtrack what happened to a body when it is that badly decomposed.
Right. They said they couldn't even.
That was a big deal for them.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for them. And they needed to make sure. It's a big case. They don't want to be wrong on this.
Mm-mm. Okay.
They don't want to be wrong on anything, but something like this, But anyway, that's the latest. We'll have some more at 5 o'clock. I'm going to sort through some more of this. And my apologies if I've offended anybody with this retelling of these details. We try to be as tactful as we can.
Yeah.
But there's no tactful way to describe this.
No.
No tactful way, that's true.
Christina. It's a lot to decipher and to go through. So we thank you for hopping on the stream. We know that you're up against a deadline for the 5 o'clock news, so we'll let you get to it.
Damn,
so many updates in the...
Oh, wait, hold on. My boy Cuff Boys just posted. I saw that. Cuff Boys be having...
We have a massive update in the...
Shout out to my boy Cuff, man.
David case. The preliminary hearing has been delayed until May 26. David's lawyers were bluffing on the fast preliminary hearing because they had no idea what the evidence was or how much it was really. And now they basically asked they need more time to look at all the evidence because remember, it's apparently 40 terabytes. But look, prosecutors say surveillance video, text messages, Tesla data, photographs, Amazon deliveries, and DNA evidence found in David's garage link him to the murder. Holy sh...
Yeah. 88 what's the word, my brother? How we feeling tonight, gang? How we feeling? I mean, I'm only on here for a few, man. Shorty pulling up soon, but I want to tap in and get into this Celeste situation, bro. I ain't gonna lie, this shit is crazy. These updates is insane. He planned this whole thing. He planned it and then tried to cover it up after.
Shit. Oh man, this is really, it's a lot. Platinum selling artist, blah, 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 on April 23rd, stabbed Celeste to death in Hollywood Hills home on April 23rd, then later murdered her body with a chainsaw in a blue inflatable kiddie pool in his garage before stowing her remains in his Tesla and lying to his friends who noticed the strong smell of decay. This is so sad. That's the damning narrative the prosecutors laid out over their 9 pages of a preliminary hearing brief filed Wednesday and released to the public. Prosecutors claim surveillance video showed the singer driving his Tesla on July 29, 2025, before he parked it around the corner from his rental house and left on a concert tour. Wow. So they got him on camera moving his car. He's the one that moved the car from the garage to the...
Oh, shit. They got him on camera moving the whip?
filed Wednesday and released to the public. Prosecutors claim surveillance video showed
surveillance
the
video.
singer driving his Tesla on July 29, 2025, before he parked it around the corner from his rental house and left on a concert tour.
Wow, that's crazy, dog. That's dumb as hell. Like, did you really think you was gonna get away by doing that?
Wow. So they got him on camera moving his car. He's the one that moved the car from the garage to the road where it got impounded. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose in his Tesla, lied to his friends, business associates, and others who noticed a strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. At court,
So he had the body in his house that long that it was already decaying.
we're hearing Wednesday, David sat quietly in an orange jail uniform as his lawyer, Blair Burke, argued that the evidence brief was so one-sided it would taint the jury pool potentially needed for a future trial. Burke asked the court to seal it. After hearing from both sides, Judge Almedo denied the request. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, though she agreed to postpone Burke's preliminary hearing several weeks to May 26. So I had a feeling this was going to happen. David's lawyers are trying to hide the evidence from the public. They're saying it's for the jury pool. They don't want a juror to see this, or a potential juror. But at the same time, they just don't want this negative evidence coming to light, bro. We even heard about the DNA, but that is very damning. And then surveillance. Filed anticipation of preliminary
That's
hearing
crazy.
claims Burke met Rivas when she was prosecutors allege Burke began
crazy.
with Rivas when she was... Riverside County officials contacted Burke in February 24 and informed him of her age, and she was reported missing by her family. Whoa. I don't know if that was public or not. Despite speaking with law enforcement...
Riverside County officials contacted Burke in February 2024 and informed him of her age after she was reported missing. Wow, hell no, we didn't know that. We didn't know that they contacted him and said, yo, just so you know, she's elite. She's a minor. Why did he think he'd get away? He must have thought that the body was going to be too far decayed to do anything.
Began with Rivas when she was... Riverside County officials contacted Burke in February 24 and informed him of her age, and she was reported missing by her family. Whoa. I don't know if that was public or not. Despite speaking with law enforcement, Burke continued pursuing her. He allegedly drove her to her...
How could you lie when I used to do 300 packs from Humboldt? That's all it stink like in the 90s. Sheesh.
home in Lake Elsinore, south of LA, and paid a junior high school student in victim's class $1,000 to give a victim a cell phone that he purchased so they could stay in contact. So that rumor was he was paying them to keep quiet. Now it's confirmed by prosecutors he paid them for a cell phone for her. Recovered text between Burke and Rivas contained references to, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say all this, but you see it. Oh my God. Explicit.
What? Recovered text between Burke and Rivas contained references to S, pregnancy, smortion, and use of a Plan B emergency contraceptive. This girl's a kid. This is crazy. The brief alleges Burke and Rivas also exchanged explicit photographs. His document...
Photographs. One text reportedly sent by Rivas obtained from Burke's iCloud reads, oh my God.
What? All we do is have S and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself.
Rivas obtained from Burke's iCloud reads, oh my God. This guy's such a piece of shit, bro. Burke broke up with Rivas on November 24, though they continued to communicate. The new filing alleges Burke engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages on the night she was last seen alive. Whoa.
Crazy.
The message revealed the victim's jealousy of the defendant's relationships with other women, as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. Reportedly became extremely upset and threatened to disclose the damaging information about a relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. So she found out he was talking to other girls after they broke up, apparently. Burke sent an Uber to pick up Rivas from Lake Elsinore on April 23rd, 2025. And Uber's involved? This is a lot.
This is crazy, dog. Uber. Wow, my camera died on me. Shit, let me play the video. I'll fix that.
Prosecutors.
That's crazy though, dog. You mean to tell me the goddamn? You mean to tell me he sent the Uber to pick the girl up? He sent the Uber like that's not gonna be able to be traced? Dude is nuts.
Alleged Burke tested with Rivas during her ride, and that driver dropped her off at the home around 10:10 p.m. Burke then sent text messages to Rivas at 10:30, inquiring where she was. So she was dropped off at 10:10, and then 10:30 is asking where she is. If I were to guess, they had an argument and she left. She walked out of the house 20 minutes later at 10:30. The people contend this was part of defense premeditated plan.
No, he killed her ass and then was staging. He killed her ass and then he was staging that she was still alive and never made it to him. That's why he was texting, where you at, where you at, where you at? Like, but he know where she at. Dead in his crib, in his garage, apparently, bruh. Shit is sick. It's crazy, dog.
To cover up the murder, she was already dead by this time. I cannot believe what I'm reading. This is insane. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she threatened very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. How do they know all this? That he was standing and everything. They alleged he left his home at 11:30 and texted and called Rivas' phone and asked where she was.
They doing real forensics back there, bro. They doing real forensics. They doing real forensics.
She left? She walked out of the house 20 minutes later at 10:30. The people contend this was part of defense premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time.
Right. Crazy.
I cannot believe what I'm reading. This is insane. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she threatened very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. How do they know all this? That he was standing and everything. They alleged he left his home at 11:30 and texted and called Rivas' phone asking where she was. Again, these acts were calculated and planned to set up his defense. But he left her in his car. This guy's an idiot, bro. This is like the worst murder cover-up ever. Burke Leslie drove to an area near Lake Tachuma in Santa Barbara County to dispose of her property. So that's why he did the mysterious Santa Barbara trip, to get rid of her shit. Returning home the next morning to attend a radio interview. He later ordered a shovel from Home Depot, which was delivered by Postmates on April 24th, and 2 chainsaws, a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and blue inflatable pool, which were delivered by Amazon early May. This is extremely...
Bro, this nigga is bad at doing crimes, bro. You said might be on cam. Yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie, dog. This dude is horrible at everything he does. Like, this whole cover-up was horrible.
Damning evidence.
But good thing it was horrible. It's gonna be easy for them to fry him.
This guy is cooked based off all this right now. Burke made purchases under a fake name, Victor Mendez, and returned to Santa Barbara County twice, the brief alleges. So he used a fake name. He ordered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Oh my God. He allegedly used the chainsaw too in his garage using the blue pool. Blue plastic fragments found embedded in Rivas' remains were later matched to the inflatable pool by LAPD Forensic Laboratory. Burke amputated her finger because it contained the tattoo of his name.
Wow.
I can't believe what I'm reading, man. When they searched his rental home, blood samples.
So he dismembered her body in an inflatable pool. He bought a chainsaw off Amazon, a burn cage, and it's crazy, dog. You were an Amazon guy. Imagine delivering that order, bruh. Horrible. I feel like certain shit, bro, you just can't get delivered at the same time, or it just looks like you staging the crime. And I would think this nigga was staging the crime.
Samples found in the garage matched the
shovel, burn cage, blue inflatable pool, a saw, electric saw, bro, heavy duty plastic bags. Like, listen to everything he ordered, bro.
Using the blue pool, blue plastic a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Oh my God. He allegedly used the chainsaw too in his
chainsaw
garage using the blue pool.
A blue pool.
Plastic fragments found embedded in Rivas' remains were later matched to the inflatable pool by LAPD Forensic Laboratory.
We heard about the shovel he got delivered earlier.
Burke amputated her finger because it contained the tattoo of his name. I can't
So she had Shush on one finger and David on another finger.
Can't believe what I'm reading, man. When they searched his rental home, blood samples found in the garage matched the victim's unique genetic profile. Oh my God, they found her DNA. Blood samples in the garage, man. This is truly disgusting. A California Department of Transportation worker also found her passport card off a highway in Santa Barbara County. In January 26, this guy is so cooked. He deserves everything coming to him. So his lawyer said they need more time to look at the discovery. The judge asked him, and he said, yes, Your Honor, if he was fine with delaying it. Oh my God, we have the surveillance video of him driving the Tesla to where it stopped.
That's crazy. Wow. They probably stopped it to see if it's him in there. Pause it and let's see if he's in there. See if we can tell who it is. Can we tell who's in there? They could tell it was him, clearly. Trying to see if we could tell. Yeah, that's it. He's short. Short ass nigga. You can see him in there.
I can't see in there, man. Can't see
You can
nothing.
see in
This is the screenshot. On July 29th, the Tesla's
Nah,
new
you can see him
drivers
in there.
later scam.
They were taking heat for taking so long. Seems like they wanted a real solid case. Yeah, I agree, bro. I'm not mad at them. They did their job right for him.
With long hair wearing a red jersey. Well, here's his friend that got arrested, Neo, with longer hair and a red jersey.
Hey, baby, yeah.
Wow. So this private investigator, Steve
I'm
Fisher,
coming
is
out.
saying he thinks it was Neo,
Alright, bro.
pretty much. But the prosecutors say it was David. So there is some difference in opinion here. The game of hide the ball from the public has started. The judge agreed to put a protective order on the search warrants. So much for an open and transparent system. David's defense even asked for a simple brief to be sealed. After running the worst PR campaign in history in the last 7 months, not coming out with a single statement supporting their client, the defense now thinks the public will form a poor opinion of their client if the public sees any of the discovery. I mean, they're going to see headlines anyway and videos. All right, I found the brief. I'm sorry. I found it. It took me a while to find this, but I found it. Evidence. People will present evidence following preliminary hearing. The description of photographs depicting the victim with no clothes on. Text message between the victim and defendant. Relationship. Pregnancy. Her text in March of 2025 that says all we do is blank and hang out. I want more than that for myself. Defense cellular activity and communications derived from defense iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defense activities from April 22nd to April 24th, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night. Surveillance video of the defendant driving Tesla on July 29th for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour. Blood stains collected from defense garage match her profile. Amazon purchase and deliveries, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, the postmating, the Uber records. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. All right, so now we're to the dismemberment. Defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot. On May 1st, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws at his home. On May 5th, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and blue inflatable pool. He used a fake name. On May 8th, he returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the same area again on May 31st. There's an isolated
Alright, bro.
site
I'm
off
about to
of
both this
I-4
nasty,
where
yeah.
victims
Yeah, I'm up off this nasty for the night, man. We tapped in. Got a little short video in. The updates on this video was crazy, man. Rest in peace to Celeste Rivas. We gonna tap in and get some more info as soon as it drop.